Today, I'm going to share the 6 proven steps to achieve your career and life success so that you can create the life you want. My husband and I just bought a boat. I mean, literally this week, the check went to the broker, which went to the owner, and we just bought a boat. Now, this has been a few months coming and a lot of miles on our truck to find the perfect boat for our next adventure, our next journey. And we happened to find a 42-foot Hunter Passage sailboat. It's a 1990, a little older than we had planned, but it's perfect for our next adventure. And our next adventure is a big one. We will be moving on board this boat on August 1st. And literally living on the boat. Shh, don't tell our insurance company that. But our plan is to travel down the east coast of the United States and perhaps the Bahamas, Caribbean islands eventually. So this is something we have been dreaming about, planning for a long, long time. It's a big dream that is kind of crazy that it's actually coming to fruition. And I wanted to share our journey with this and really the 6 steps that we've been doing for a while to get to this place. Because I know many of you watching, listening, have big, huge, wild, crazy career and life goals. And I want you to achieve them, maybe more than you do some days. And I hope that over the next 3 episodes, because we're going to break this down into a 3-episode series about goal setting, things you probably have never, ever heard when it comes to goal setting, so that you can achieve your wildest, crazy dreams like we are stepping into right now. And let me tell you, it is wild and it is crazy. And I can't believe it's actually here. Like it's so amazing. So let me tell you though, what the 3-part series is going to entail. So first of all, today I'm going to share the 6 proven steps to achieve your career and life success so that you can create the life you want. And you'll hear more about that as we go through those 6 steps. And then the second part, which will be aired next week, so a week from today, or depending on when you're listening to this, they may be out already. You can do boom, boom, boom. You can binge on them. But the second part is going to be the power of strengths-based goal setting. So the power of strengths-based goal setting, and how your talents might be hindering or helping you achieve your goals. That's the mind blow one, I feel like. And then part 3 in this series is how to overcome the top 3 obstacles to living your dream life in record time. And that one, we go through a lot of the mindset you will need to achieve your goal and what might be stopping you. And I like to call them the sharks, danger buoys, and anchors that you need to look out for. So it's a 3-part series. We're going to get started in the first part today. And my hope and goal for doing this series is that it'll help you see how you can move from just dreaming about this lifestyle that you want to taking small action steps today to achieve your biggest dreams tomorrow. The second reason I'm doing this series is if you don't have a big dream that you're working on that's waiting to be birthed, I hope that it inspires you to start dreaming bigger. And number 3, the third reason why I'm doing this series is that I want to be the dream holder for you. And you'll hear today what that means. What is a dream holder? So back to our story of buying this boat. So this was not a spur of the moment idea. This is something that my husband and I have been working towards for several years. In fact, I remember before my husband, he recently retired, I remember having these conversations 5 to 7 years ago because that was the joke. Because we knew once he retired, our goal was to buy a bigger boat and live aboard it and travel on it. Kind of like people do an RV, because some people look at me like, what? You're doing what? You live on a boat? You're going to live on a boat? But if you're not a boater, think about RVers. Most people get that concept of driving around the country in an RV. That's what we're going to do, except for our RVs on water. So anyway, I remember having these conversations with my husband. And like I said, it almost became this joke that, when are you going to retire, honey? Oh, in 5 to 7 years. And that went on for probably 7 to 9 years almost. And then finally, when it came down to like, okay, you've been saying 5 to 7 years for a long time, we set a date for that retirement. And things didn't fall into place exactly how we pictured it. But a year later, we will be stepping into that dream of moving on to a boat and living on it. And yeah, in case you're wondering, it scares the crap out of me because it's finally here. But it's also super, super exciting. And you know what? Big dreams do that. They scare you a little bit. In fact, if your dreams aren't scaring you a little bit, they're not big enough. And again, one of the goals for this series is to get you to dream bigger. Okay. So we have been intentionally making decisions and creating our life over the last 5 to 7 years, really about 8 years back. I can go back to get to this moment, to get to this place that we can step into this dream and really make it a reality. This has been in our heart and our souls for a long, long time. And these are the 6 steps that we took to get here today. And I hope that they will empower you to take the steps so that you can also start planning for your next big adventure. So you can create your ideal life. Because here's the thing. This is something, and I know this life is not for most people. It's for a very small few. But you have a dream in your heart about the way you want to live and work. And I'm here to tell you anything is possible today, anything at all. And that's what I want you to get from this, is to start thinking about, if you could create your ideal life and your ideal career, what would it look like? I want to give you permission to start dreaming about that, so then you can start creating that ideal career and that ideal life. That's one of the things we talk about in the Discovering Your Calling program. Is we spend a lot of time on, I call it visioneering. And I have the students in there create their ideal life, and then we create a career that will work around that life, versus how most people go through their entire lives of having a career and then have to fit their life into the little pockets left. We're going to reverse that. And that's exactly what my husband and I are creating for ourselves. Okay, so the 6 action steps. I know you're like, okay, Sheri, just get to this, right? All right, so here are the 6 action steps that we took that you can start doing today. So you don't have to delay this dream. Okay, number 1, we planned. In fact, we planned, as I've been sharing, way ahead. It started, this dream, the vision we had for it actually started 7 or 8 years ago when we sold our house. So we have 3 boys. They are grown. They're all now married, children of their own. But, 7, 8, and I'm horrible with going back in time. So it was 7 to 8 years ago where they had all moved out and nobody had came back at that season, because some of them did go out and come back and go out and come back. Some of you may relate to that, any empty nesters. But we had a big, beautiful house on 8 acres of land in the country. That house no longer served us. It served us really well raising those 3 boys, but we didn't need that house anymore. So when we sold it, we decided we didn't want to own a house anymore, and we were going to rent, because we knew eventually when my husband retired, we would be living this dream of moving onto a boat and living on a boat for a year-ish. So we decided we would just rent. So we've been renting a couple of different homes, really, to find the ideal rental for the last 7 to 8 years, knowing that we didn't want to be tied to another house. So this plan, like I said, has been in the works since that time when we sold our house. The other thing we did as part of this planning was when my husband was ready to get a new truck, we decided to lease it. And we did a very short-term lease. In fact, his lease will be up in February while we're off sailing. So it's going to be at our son's house for a while. But we've been purposely creating our life today so that we could have this dream tomorrow. And now it's tomorrow for us. So the first thing we did again was we planned, and we planned way ahead for the future dream. The second thing we did that you can also do is we created a deadline. And as I shared, part of the deadline was when my husband retired. But another big deadline was actually similar to what I just shared. It's the deadline on when our lease is up on our current apartment. So we live in a beautiful townhome that I actually am going to really miss this townhome. But our lease is up August 1st. So that became our deadline last year. We said, you know what? We're not going to renew our lease. And by August 1st, 2023, we need to have purchased the boat we want to travel on and be moved out of our apartment and onto this boat. So we created a deadline for ourselves. So you need to have a deadline. What's the date that you're going to make your dream come true? Because otherwise it's just a goal in the wind, or it's just a dream in the wind, I should say. It's not a goal. It's just a dream in the wind, not a goal, if it doesn't have a deadline. The third thing we did is, and this is really me, because now my husband is retired, but I started to create my business and design it knowing that we would someday be living on a boat. So that was a piece of why I stepped away from my position as a leader in direct sales, is I knew I didn't want to have to worry about holding appointments, having consultants need me, having customers need me, having products to worry about. I knew that wouldn't work for how I wanted to live on the boat and travel. I knew I needed to create something virtually so I could do, work from Zoom or whatever that looks like. And I knew I needed to create this laptop lifestyle business. And don't get me wrong, I love meeting with my clients, the few chances I have occasionally to actually meet them in person, but most of my business is all virtual. So they can be anywhere in the world and I can be anywhere in the world, and I can be on our boat anywhere, at any port, at any dock, and communicate with my clients. And that was very intentional that I did that in the way I designed my business. And that's something I also do with my Discovering Your Calling students, is if that's something they want for themselves, we create that for them. Again, it goes back to how they want to live their lives. So we spend time talking about that in the program. And if that is something that appeals to you, and you've been thinking like, ooh, I would love to quit my job and have that laptop lifestyle, then hold on to the end of this, because I have a special gift for you that I want to let you know about. Okay. The fourth thing we did is we practiced this. We practiced and we worked our way up to this boat. So we started that practicing way back in 2007 when we bought a 19-foot O'Day Mariner, a very tiny sailboat. It was like living like a little pup tent. We could crawl in and actually sleep on it, had a porta potty. And it was just a tester boat to see, do we even like this? Do we like sailing together? Is this something we want to pursue? So it was a tester boat we had for a year. We spent $900 on it and had fun with it for a year. We decided, yes, we love sailing, but not on this boat. So the next year we did buy a 26-foot sailboat that we kept for several years. And then we eventually moved up to a 31-foot sailboat, another Hunter, which we absolutely loved, and it served us well on the lake. But we knew for our big adventure that we needed to go bigger. So we worked our way up. So we went from 19 to 26 to 31 to now 42. That was a big jump. And we knew, like I said, that the boat we are buying, wasn't our first boat. It would be so scary if it was. And sometimes you have to work up to a bigger dream or calling and test out a few things along the way. So maybe you're not ready to step into the ginormous dream yet, but what can you do today to start working towards that dream, to stepping into and up to that dream? All right, the fifth thing we did is we shared our dream with others. We told our kids, we told our coworkers, we told our friends, and they became the dream holders for us. And it got to a point that we couldn't not do this because our kids, our coworkers, and our friends all kept asking about it because they knew when my husband retired that this was part of what we wanted to do. So we had to do this, like we were committed, and they held us accountable to that in a good way, And yes, you know, a lot of people also ask us like, well, aren't your kids going to miss you? And, you know, we have 6 grandkids, but they're so invested in this dream, just like we are. They can't wait for their grandparents to experience this and to come along for part of the journey with us. I just imagine the memories that we'll be able to create on this boat with our grandkids and with our sons and their wives and our friends. They're coming along for this journey with us. So it's so exciting that they were the dream holders for us, and then we get to share the dream with them. So, you know, who can you share your dream with that will hold that dream for you? And I know that it's scary. It's super scary to share big dreams with other people because they will hold you accountable. And sometimes we don't want that. Like sometimes we say things it's like, oh, I wasn't really serious. But who are those people that you can count on that the things you really do want, who could you share them with that will support your dream? And yeah, you're going to have people that will laugh at it, people that will question it. The doubters that will think you'll never do it. And we have those too. But you know what? We use those people in our lives to also fuel us to say, let's show them that, yes, we are definitely going to do this. So share your dream with other people who will hold the dream with you and for you and alongside you. And the sixth thing we did is we kept the dream alive by watching others do it. So we were very lucky. This last place that we've been living is actually, it's where the Hudson River and Erie Canal meet. And it's where one of the locks are when people travel through the Erie Canal. So every summer we see boats coming and going that are living the dream that we want to do. People that are traveling on their boat on what's called the Great Loop. People that are traveling on their boat just for the weekend, people that are traveling on their boats to do the intercoastal waterway, which we plan on doing. We have met people of all ages, of all demographics, on boats that probably cost about as much as our 19-foot sailboat to, you know, mega yacht. Well, probably not mega yachts, but big yachts. But the one thing they have in common is they have this traveling bug and they're excited about being on the water and living out their dreams. And because we've seen people do it year in, year out, and we've talked to them, it has kept our dream alive and made it achievable, made it because we saw other people doing it. We knew we could do it too, because if they could do it, we could do it. And then in the wintertime, when there's no boats on the canal, we spend a lot of time watching YouTube videos, again, of other people living out our dreams. So knowing others are doing it just reminds us that we can do this too. So who do you need to follow? Who do you need to connect with that is living out your current dream? Connect with them, follow them, reach out to them. And the more you see that over and over again, the more you'll be able to step into your dream because, again, if they can do it, you can do it too. So just to wrap up and review, the 6 steps again are: number 1, have a plan. Number 2, create a deadline. 3, start creating the life that will enable you to live out your dream. Number 4, start prepping and practicing. Number 5, share your dream with others. And number 6, keep the dream alive by watching others do it. So, my friend, if your dream life entails possibly quitting your current job so you can have all the freedom and flexibility and the fun and the fulfillment and success that you deserve, then I have a little PDF sheet. It's kind of like a little quiz you can take for yourself. It's the 10 signs that it's time to quit your job. So you can take a look at this PDF and see how many boxes you check off. And I have, a little rating thing. So you can decide, is it time for part of maybe your dream is to be able to put in your 2 weeks notice so that you can then pursue something that's more in line with your calling. So if that appeals to you, then I'll put the link in the show notes, or send me an email at Sheri Miter Co, SHERIMITERCO @gmail.com, and ask me about the 10 signs it's time to quit your job. But the link will be in the show notes, or if you're watching the YouTube video, it's down below. And just take the quiz and see if that's maybe the first step you need to do to start living out your dream life. And then catch me back in the next 2 series. The next one, again, is going to be the power of strengths-based goal setting. And are your talents hindering or helping you? I guarantee that this will be a mind-blowing activity for you to do, especially if you are familiar with your Clifton Strengths themes. And if you're not, still listen, because it's going to be pretty powerful. All right, my friend, thank you for listening to this. And again, I hope that these 6 steps will be the 6 steps you can take to start working towards your dream. And I would love to be the dream holder for you. So if you have a dream on your heart, send me an email, reach out to me, send me a DM on Facebook, let me know, or Instagram, what is the dream you have in your heart so I can be one of those dream holders for you. And as always, thanks for listening or watching the Discovering Your Calling podcast.